Come with me if you want to live.
Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
This is it. Don't get scared.
Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. This is it. Don't get scared. Now grab your popcorn or something cold to drink and preferably salty to eat. And let's talk about the 97th Academy Awards. And the biggest question is, does anyone care? I sort of do. Now, when it comes to award shows, really at the end of the day, it's just a group of people handing each other trophies. And in this case, it's millionaires getting patted on the back saying, good job for your performance, and they get a gold trophy. But hey, in the name of cinema, I support it. So when it comes to this Academy Award, this Academy Awards, the only categories I really ever care about are Best Picture. And I really only care about Best Picture when there's a movie in there that I truly feel deserves to win. A movie that stands out, a movie that will stand the test of time, a movie that challenges you to think outside of the box and feel something visceral, raw, cold, damp, whatever that feeling is, that's up to you. It's all subjective at the end of the day. But this year, the only movie I really care about is The Substance winning Best Picture of the Year, because I truly feel it deserves to win. If you look at every category that makes a phenomenal film, acting, cinematography, storytelling, writing, directing, it's a culmination of all of those things blended together to give me some creepy body dysmorphia movie with Demi Moore coming back in full blazing glory and then becoming utterly disgusting, which just makes you want to vomit up your popcorn halfway through the movie. But that's when you know it's doing its job, okay? So this year, for Best Picture, the nominees are Anora, which I did enjoy. I thought Anora was a great movie, and I put it in my top 10 of the year. The Brutalists, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, which I have not seen, I will probably never see, and I wouldn't be shocked if it wins for no apparent reason whatsoever. But then again, who knows? I just have a feeling a lot of people voting in the Academy Awards, I think there's like 9,000 members. I would just safely assume a majority of them don't watch every single movie to vote on. So they pick their favorites. Let's keep it real, okay? And then going on from there, you have Dune 2. I don't think it'll win, but I quite enjoyed Dune 2. Then you have Emilia Perez, which I've never seen. I probably will never see. My wife watched 7.5 minutes of it, and she's like, I like musicals. The synopsis sounded intriguing, but I couldn't watch any more than that. And I can't even push play on it. Okay, I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm still here. Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked, which I enjoyed Wicked as well, but I don't think it's Best Picture of the Year. You know, like, Best Musical of the Year, for sure. But Best Picture? Nah, I don't know about that. But so here's my question to you guys watching. What do you feel deserves to win Best Picture of the Year? Give it to me now. I'm waiting. I'm willing. I'm ready. I'm accepting. Give it to me. I want it. And speaking of that, real quick, talking about best movies of the year. If you didn't know, over on the FlickPick channel, my main channel, the link is down below. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but then again, why are you here if you don't know about my main channel? But anyway, I did put out my top 10 best movies of 2024 last week. That video is live now. If you missed it, go check it out. It's a good time. You guys wanted it. I gave it to you. There you go. I put it out there in the universe. Someone go consume it, please. Give that shit a thumbs up and a comment if you want. I do read all of my comments. And speaking of comments, I am getting a lot of questions and comments right now, and it's good to be here, guys, and thanks for joining me. How are you guys doing? There's a lot to talk about, I assure you. We will casually touch on the Academy Awards. I do have it playing beside my stupid head right now. But when Best Picture comes up, we'll really dive into it. Along the way, I'll look over here and look at people talking too long on stage, holding a golden trophy, saying things that no one really cares about. But anyway, we'll get to that momentarily. It is playing right there. So if anything good is about to happen during the Academy Awards, please let me know and we can kind of watch it together. I want to turn it up, but I don't want to get a copyright issue. So either way, a few quick updates though for you guys. There's a few movies I saw recently that I would like to talk about, and we will dive into all of your questions. So if you have questions, get them in right now because we will cover those rapid fire. Rapid fire what? I don't know. Rapid fire. What was I going for there? I don't know. But we will get to those, and I will cover those questions. So if you have questions, get them in right now, please. And real quick, I want to tell you guys something that's very important that will probably affect the quality of life that you live and the universe that you inhabit. Has anyone tried Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Blackberry? Now, I'm an advocate of Dr. Pepper. I think it's delicious. Now, if you live in other countries, such as Europe, a lot of people say Dr. Pepper tastes like cough medicine. And I say, yeah, cough medicine tastes good as well. And I like to drink it. So when it comes to Dr. Pepper Blackberry, it obviously has a blackberry taste, a little aftertaste of like a grape. But really the best way I can describe Dr. Pepper Blackberry is if I chewed up a berry and then I swallowed it and then I spit into a Dr. Pepper, that's what this would taste like. And you're probably thinking, that's kind of gross, John. That's utterly disgusting. But I think it sounds delicious. I don't know about you. It's so good. All right, guys, how's it going? We got James in here. Hello, John. We got Pro Griswold who says, thanks for the Oscars. This is the first time I have actually been here live. Well, hey, man, thanks for joining me. I had no intention of doing this, but I remembered at the last second. I was like, oh yeah, I typically make a live stream on Oscars night, but I only talk about the Oscars for like 7 minutes. So thanks for joining me, guys. And we'll dive into the questions here. As you guys typically know, Super Chats get priority. I answer those first. But if you guys have a good question that pops up in between, I would love to answer it. Thought-provoking questions. Make me feel something. Tell me how you're doing. We'll talk about Elimination Chamber momentarily. And also, the real quick thing I did want to mention is I did see a movie called Last Breath, starring Woody Harrelson. It's based on the true story from 2012 about deep-sea saturation divers that work for the oil industry repairing the pipelines. And I knew a little bit about deep-sea diving, just a little bit. But I did not understand or comprehend that these men live in a decompression chamber for a month at a time to do their job. And this movie, the best way I can describe it is, it's a literal panic attack disguised as a film. I was getting so antsy watching this. First of all, I have a slight form of claustrophobia, just ever so slightly. I can control it. But then when you also introduce the ocean, which is just the scariest thing, I hate the ocean. I will not go into it. I don't want to swim into it. It's gross. It's dark. It's disgusting. Why would you go down there? You're not supposed to be. There's sharks. You don't go down. Like, that's where sharks live. You don't swim there, okay? It's called land. You walk there, okay? And it's safe. It's great. You don't have to go into the ocean. No reason to go whatsoever. You chose this. But anyway, Last Breath literally was giving me, I wouldn't say literally, but I was on the edge of having a panic attack watching this movie. It's so riveting, and at times you almost hold your breath along with a few of the characters, and like, I loved it. I loved every second of this movie. I could not recommend a movie more this year than Last Breath. If you haven't seen it and you want to get on the edge of your seat and feel something, some suspense, oh, this is the movie for you. So highly recommend it. Quite enjoyed it. And just some of the sequences when they're going down to the ocean floor and it's all dark and murky, and they're in something called a diving bell, which I didn't understand the logistics of, but since watching the movie, I become a deep dive expert because I've researched everything that went into this movie extensively for the last 2 days. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I have a slight form of autism. I'm not quite sure. But nevertheless, It's bizarre that this is the best method that mankind has developed to do this job. And even with all these protocols and technology, it's still the most terrifying thing on the planet that I would never do. I would much rather be an astronaut shot to the moon than be a deep sea saturation diver. That's how scary this is. So definitely check it out. If you like survival films, if you're into that genre, it's one of my favorite genres that I've come to love for the last couple of years. And it's good shit. Okay. All right, let's dive into some of the questions here. How's it going, Chris? All right. Kevy Rez says, did you see Elimination Chamber last night? Oh, I did. I consumed every ounce of that. I'm a WWE nerd. I loved it. I liked the John Cena heel twist at the end. Long time coming. I was half expecting it, but I didn't think they would pull the trigger this quick or in the fashion that they did. But damn it, I'm now excited for WrestleMania 41. And I'm so happy John Cena, for his last run in WWE, finally gets to become a heel. I think it's everything I wanted to see, and it makes it so much more exciting. So I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I also enjoyed the unsanctioned match quite a bit. I liked how they changed the lighting for it to make it look a little more like WWE doesn't want any part of this, and they got rid of all the logos. I thought it was pretty cool. All right, Robert Giacinta says, nothing like taking a dump and getting the notification for live stream. You are a toilet paper or baby wipes guy. Well, Robert, I'm glad you asked, because I know a lot of people came here to talk about movies, and we'll get to the movies. But the most important thing I can tell you guys, treat this as a PSA, okay? I like to tell you, if you don't use wet wipes, envision this. Go outside, put your hands in the mud, then come inside and take a dry paper towel and try to clean your hands, and then eat something. You'll notice that your hands are still covered in muck, debris, and mud. But if you take a warm, it doesn't even have to be warm, it just has to be moist. Take a moist wet wipe. Now clean your hands. Spotless, clean. Now follow that same concept right to your asshole. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the question, Robert. Thank you so much. Better Call Maul says, Johnny Thimble tip. Did you see the Avengers Doomsday leaks? Pretty nutty. Dr. Doom looks badass. Yeah, I did, in fact. By the way, I'm going to plug myself real quick because I'm a narcissist and it's all about me. All right? No, I don't mean that. Well, for a second, I might. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, aka X, follow me there. I put out a tweet about the leaks and shared some of them. So yeah, if you guys don't get notifications from YouTube or you miss me in your sub box or whatever, follow me on X if you want. No big deal. But as far as those Avengers leaks go, from the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie, those got me excited. Now, if those were unintentionally leaked...
Attack of the Clones or Rise of Skywalker.
Well, let's pause the robot voice. So, as far as those leaks go, I almost want to say they were intentional because that would have been great marketing. And the truth is, when you look at those leaked concept images, it doesn't really spoil anything. Like, we sort of assumed half of this shit would be in the movie. I'm not shocked by it. But it does give you a few glimmers of concepts and ideas that I would like to see come to fruition. And the thing I most liked about those leaked concept images, if they were in fact leaked, but then again, I think a lot of people were getting takedown notices. A few people might have, I don't know. But the thing I liked about them is they had this medieval grittiness to them. Like they didn't look like this glossy, sterile Marvelverse that we've come to know. You know, it didn't look like concrete. It looked like there was like a tone to it. And I know they're just concept images and they could be 100% different when you get a live action adaptation of that. But just some of like you definitely get the Doomsday or Doctor Doom vibe that I'm looking for, which kind of has like a time periodness to it in some other multiverse. You see a couple of, you see Hulk there. And it looked like Doctor Strange was also Doctor Doom's like first-hand man standing beside him. It almost had like a Game of Thrones vibe to it. And if you could incorporate that into a Doomsday movie, just for part of it, maybe the first act takes place there. That's what I want to see. Give me that. So yeah, I loved them. I thought they were great. Best thing I've seen from Marvel in a long time. All right. The next one comes from Brandon Dorian, who says, Substance got no shot to win, Johnny. What's nominated? And that's the only chance I need. I root for the underdog. No one else. Listen, as long as something like Emilia Perez doesn't win, I think we can all live with that. But then again, if you liked Emilia Perez, let me know in the comments section down below. Let me know what you liked about it. Maybe it was riveting. Maybe it spoke to you. I don't know. All right, the next one comes from James Dozier says, Nora, I guess. Okay, so you're going with a Nora. All right. A lot of people are picking a Nora, and I think that's a safe bet. I really do. I think statistically speaking, it has the highest percentage or the highest chance of winning if you look at some of the betting sites. And yes, now people bet and gamble on who's going to win Best Picture of the Year. All right. Yeah, I'm hoping Craven wins. That's really my number one pick of the year. All right. Pete Velasquez says, Gene Hackman's death is creepy as F. Hi from Texas. Yeah, I heard about that. And rest in peace, Gene Hackman, man. No one's really talking about this. He passed away, I think, like a week or two ago, and no one knew about it for like 9 days. But then again, when I was living alone with no lady friend, I probably could have died and no one would have known for a month. I don't know. So yeah, that is a bit creepy. Bryce Tiffany, thanks for the super chat. No question there, but thank you so much. The next one comes from Brandon Dorian, who says, "Is wokeness ruining cinema? Be honest. I am hammered. When have I not been honest with you? I'm honest to a fault. I'm honest to a fault where I lose fucking subscribers every time I'm too honest, okay? But I don't care. If you're that fickle, I don't want you. But if you are here, just know I love you more than you'll ever know, and I embrace you as a brother or a sister to my bosom. So thank you, and please don't ever leave me. Because to be honest with you, I'm not shit without you. I'm just some guy rambling on about nothing in a room. In his underwear, wearing a Top Gun jacket. Is wokeness... No, I think when it comes to wokeness, I think whenever you have to interrupt the flow or the organic story that's being told to interject something that is to obviously appease someone else, to me, that is detrimental to a story. So whenever you interrupt that to appease someone else, yes, I think that is detrimental. So take that how you will. That is my stance on it. If it makes sense for the story, put it in there. Awesome. If it's distracting and takes away from the story, leave it out. All right, the next one comes from Better Call Maul, who says, Johnny, I'm baked. Tell me you're hyped for Daredevil Born Again. We are so back. Only 2 days away, baby. I added the baby there. I was feeling a little bit frisky, and I wanted it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do have a couple buddies who have already watched the early screeners of it. I tried to get my hands on one. I was too late to the party. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to check it out this Tuesday. I'm just... The thing that puts all of my tension at ease is the fact that Disney did not nerf Daredevil. You know, they kind of kept the tone similar, and that's all I wanted to hear. That's fine by me. D-Man says, Emilia Perez or Shawshank Redemption, pick one. Well, obviously Emilia Perez, a movie I've never watched and never will, compared to the best film ever made. Oh, yeah. And with all that said, my name is Emilia Perez. And the sisters left. Okay, let's go to the next one. Jay Flick says, so I recently rewatched Her 2017. What? Okay, I recently rewatched Her 2017 Black Friday video. I was wondering, were you still dating Britney when you shot it? 2017? 2017, was I? No, I was not. I did live in South Carolina at that time still, and I was in the process of moving January 2nd. So a month after I shot that video, I moved. I was single during that video. James Doshier, and also a fun story about the Black Friday 2017 video. Earlier that day, because it was Thanksgiving Day, and I was alone in a state where I knew 2 people. I'm a dude, okay? I don't cook. I barely microwave my food. But I went to KFC that day. I was like, oh, I'll get a chicken meal, some mashed potatoes and corn. It'll be so good. I ate it, and then I got violently ill instantaneously after eating it, and I was sick for 3 hours. And then I looked over at the clock, and it was 10 o'clock at night on Black Thursday. That's what I call it. We can call it Brown Thursday, whatever. And so that happened right before I made the video. All right, James Dozier says, are you excited for WrestleMania this year? I am excited, especially after Elimination Chamber. I'm definitely excited to see it, James. Christian Corbett says, I hope you ate a donut for John Bon Jovi's birthday. I did not eat a donut for Bon Jovi's birthday. Unfortunately, I did not. If I had a cream-filled Long John, I would eat it right now. Oh, they won. Dune 2 won Best Sound. Yay! All right. It definitely sounded good. GF Hostman says, have you seen Cheers? I have seen Cheers. I quite enjoyed it. The thing I liked about Cheers was, and I think maybe they changed it later on, but the first few seasons were actually shot on film, and I always remember thinking how good this looks, because it wasn't shot on tape like a majority of the other TV shows in the 90s or late 80s. Yeah, I always liked Cheers, but Cheers was always one of those shows that I never intentionally watched Cheers, and I don't think anyone ever intentionally watched Cheers. Cheers was a show that you were inundated with late at night when you were just flipping through the channels as a stupid little kid. Oh, look, Cheers is on. I'll just watch that, But the opening theme song to Cheers, where everybody knows your name, I love it, man. The next one comes from Tripler3, who says, does Jack Nicholson in The Shining feel more relatable as you get older? Jack Nicholson from The Shining is who I strive to be the older I get. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. Absolutely. Every time someone knocks on my door, that's what I say. All right. The next one comes from Dustin Rich, who says, excited about Daredevil Born Again. Should I be? I've heard it's good. I've heard it delves is the right word, but that sounds like I have a southern twang on it. I've heard it's great. I've heard it kind of touches on the courtroom drama aspect a bit more, and I kind of like that. When you have a series about a lawyer, I know he's a vigilante of the night and blind, but I don't mind if you focus more on him being a lawyer or some of the courtroom drama. I think that sounds great. But I am excited to see it, man. Carter Lovejoy says, the best way to watch the Oscars is with YMS watch-along streams. Rip Scoot. Yeah, man, I think I did see that in my sub box right before I went live with this. All right, let me catch up here. Carter Lovejoy. Okay, Carter. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Here we go. Bo Cylinder says, Attack of the Clones or Rise of Skywalker. Oh, I would rather get Attack of the Clones tattooed on my forehead than have to watch Rise of Skywalker. A movie that just felt like they were making it up as they went, with no soul, no purpose, and no idea what the hell they were doing, other than the fact that they said, hey, we got to put out a new Disney or a new Star Wars movie this year. What do you want to do? I don't know. Slap some shit on the wall. Go. You want to bring the Emperor back? Sure. How does he get here? Oh, I can put it in there. All right. I hate Rise of Skywalker. I can't watch that movie again. I don't think for the rest of my life, I can safely tell you, unless someone pays me a large lump sum of cash, okay, I probably will never watch Rise of Skywalker again. And I mean that when I say it, Okay? All right. All right, let's go to the next one here. Bryce Tiffany, how's it going? All right, so thank you for the very generous super chat, and let's dive into it. Been a really rough week for me, so this show is a pleasant surprise. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Was planning to go to vet school next year, declined by all 9 I applied to, but most don't get in first time applying. Got any magical and mystical advice? Okay. You're talking to a guy who went to a school where as long as you pay them what they're asking, and it was very overpriced, they pretty much accept anyone who can read, okay? So that's where I went to school. That's where I got my education, okay? And then, even then, I only went 27% of the time, and by the end of my college career, they told me, John, out of everyone who's graduated for the last 5 years at this university, you have the worst attendance rate we've ever had. And I said, oh, well, what does that tell you? I can do this shit with my eyes closed, all right? So, Bryce, my best advice to you is don't give up, man. Or is Bryce a lady? I don't know. But my best advice to you is don't give up. Just keep applying. Or maybe look for is there other vet schools you can apply to out of state? Some crazy one that you can apply to, like in Albuquerque or something? You know, I don't know. I would do whatever it takes to get in. That's what I would do. But if you have to kind of, I guess if geographically speaking, you're a bit limited where you can go, I guess keep applying and reapplying. But I know nothing about becoming a veterinarian. Absolutely nothing about it. And you wouldn't want a guy like me, like, working on your animals. Like, you'd have no reassurance whatsoever. Okay. I guess keep applying. You know, I knew someone who wanted to be an SLP, and they got denied for like 2 years, and then they randomly applied to some school in the most random state. I think it was like Mississippi, and they got in. So I don't know. I guess just don't give up. Never surrender. But good luck, and keep us updated. Let me know. James Dosher says, are you worried about the MCU at this point after Captain America 4? I still haven't seen the film, but I'm not surprised the reaction that it's gotten. I think Captain America 4 was sort of an obligation movie. I don't feel like it had a lot of love or care. It was obligatory. It's like, okay, well, we wrote ourselves into a corner. We have to give Sam Wilson his own solo movie. How can we make him a supporting character in his own movie and really make this a movie sort of like an epilogue to The Incredible Hulk, which came out in 2008? How do we do that? And that's what they did. And then they hired a director who I don't think was the right choice. They had a whole bunch of screenwriters that I don't think were the right choice. And they kind of crapped out a product which felt like a disposable MCU film that no one will probably talk about ever again in 2 more months. Because at the end of the day, what really happened? Like, what actually happened in that movie? He fought a big red CGI guy? And then the good guy kind of won? Okay. Did that affect anything? I don't think it did. I don't know. Not to me, it didn't. All right, let's go to the next one here. Goran Trajanovsky. Okay, here we go. Hey, John, did you see the recent Avengers Doomsday concept art? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I thought the concept art looked cool, man. I shared it on X. I love it. I like the gritty design of it all. I think Black Panther in that concept art looks probably more badass than he's ever looked. And also, it's like a muscular man wearing the Black Panther suit, not a 93-pound little sister to Black Panther. So yeah, I thought it looked awesome. I'm hoping they keep that style. If anything, I want the MCU films to have a tone that looks cinematic. And if they would allow the directors that they hire to inject some of their own vision and some of their own tone into these movies and maybe light them a little different, adjust the contrast a little different. So each one has its own little flavor to it. I think that would really separate these movies. And I get why they want everything to look and feel the same to make it cohesive in the MCU. I get that. But I think we're at a point where we've done that for a decade. And I think now it's time to make these feel like cinema. Like, make them look cinematic. And that's what I want to see. So, did I answer the question? I think I did. All right. The next one comes from Robert Giacinta. How's it going again, Robert? Ever been caught spanking the monkey? I mean, who hasn't? Every time. So my room as a kid was in the basement. Thank God. Because I could always hear my mother's footsteps coming down the stairs. And the best thing I can tell you, if you're a young person living at home and you're a pervert, just act like you're sleeping. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to the next one. All right, I had so much more to tell you about that, but we'll just leave it there. All right. But speaking of monkeys, I did watch a little movie last week called The Monkey. And it's based on a Stephen King novel from the early 1980s. Actually, a short story, I believe, from the early 1980s from Stephen King. And when it comes to this film, it's directed by the same director of Longlegs. And I would definitely say I much preferred The Monkey over Longlegs. I felt like Longlegs overpromised and underdelivered. But The Monkey, going in, I knew almost nothing about it. I knew a little bit of the synopsis from the Stephen King short story, but when it comes to like a meta horror film that just has over-the-top death scenes that are outrageous and a lot of fun to watch, almost on the level of something like Final Destination, where it's just, for some odd reason, it's fun to watch people brutally die in the most gory fashion as you eat popcorn, but there's a fine line of levity you have to interject in there to make it enjoyable, and I think The Monkey did that. And I quite enjoyed it. I think it's a little clunky. The monkey is clunky, especially during the second half of the movie where Theo James gets introduced. And I thought he was great in the movie. And by the way, that's my wife's celebrity crush. But anyway, she enjoyed it. And where was I going with that? Oh, yes, The Monkey. I liked it. I thought it was a fun time. And it's one of those horror films that you could watch with a group of people and laugh. So I liked it. The other thing that I thought that it did so well as an adaptation was it sort of made it was almost a parody of Stephen King's short story. Like, it made fun of all those tropes and all the silliness of it, and it called it all out. And at the end of the day, the best way to describe the monkey, the actual possessed little monkey that plays the drums, not the cymbals, because Disney owns that copyright, is the best way to describe it is the monkey was sort of the monkey was a MacGuffin for all the crazy wackiness and gore to take place. Ultimately, does it really matter? No, but it's there and it's an excuse. So I liked it. All right, the next one comes from your name here says, excuse my crassness, but the Academy Awards are just one big circle jerk. Who cares indeed? Wondering what's going to be uncovered with the Epstein list. Well, I think half the list is sitting in attendance at the Oscars. Yeah, I would like to see that list. I really would. I would. But you have to keep in mind, though. You got to keep in mind. In all fairness, hear me out for a second, because that's what I do. I play devil's advocate. Just because you're on the list and you took an invite from a billionaire to go to his island to hang out, it doesn't mean you're a pedo. It doesn't necessarily mean you did anything wrong. Maybe some of these people just went there, hung out on the beach, said, this is a rich dude. It's good to have rich friends. Hey, I wish I had a couple billionaire friends who invited me to a private island, okay? And then I'd probably be on a list somewhere. But would I partake in anything or any illegal, illicit activities? Absolutely not. Okay, maybe some drugs, maybe some drinking, but that's it. So you also have to balance that, okay? Just because someone's on the list doesn't mean that, then again, they probably did. They're all criminals, they're all corrupt, and I hope they all pay for their sins against humanity. But as far as the Academy Awards go, I'm with you, man. I like when movies that deserve praise and accreditation get that. You know, films that have a modest budget with a great cast where everyone came together and really made art. I like when they get their accreditation. I really do. But as far as actual award ceremonies go, no, I've never cared. Never cared. I probably never will. But we will talk about the best picture of the night. And can you guys, when they start announcing best picture or right before it, like the commercial break before best picture, can you guys let me know in the chat? I have it playing right beside me, and I do want to watch it with you guys. We can watch it together. So please remind me. I assume it's like the last 10 minutes of the show. Should I turn it up? I'll turn it up ever so slightly. Okay. All right, the next one comes from Murph, who says, are you excited to be able to start mowing your lawn again? My favorite thing is to unnecessarily cut down branches with my tree trimmer. Oh, gee, nothing makes you feel more like a man when you cut down a tree branch that you don't even need to. And the funny thing about it is I have a chainsaw. It's very powerful. But I whipped that bad boy out to cut down a 1-inch in diameter branch that I could probably just break off with my pinky finger and crush up like a toothpick. But nevertheless, I need to chainsaw it off the tree. So yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, I live in Indiana, so it's only March, and you really don't need to cut your grass until like late April. But I am looking forward to it. I love I love getting on my riding lawnmower and just feeling the vibration. Oh God, take me away. Dustin Rich says, if you were ever given an opportunity to be on Friday Night Tides, would you be interested? Do you vibe with them? Would I do it? Yeah, I probably would do it. Would I think of it as sort of like a slight obligation? Yes, because that's just where I am in life. Because you have to be so on when you do things like that. It's like, okay, let me say something witty and funny every 5 seconds to chime in with the conversation. And plus, it also really depends on the topic. It would have to be something I'm interested in or have something to chime in on. As far as the vibe goes, I think there's a spectrum when it comes to opinions in the movieverse of things. And, I think one's far this way, one's very far this way. And I'm sort of like, I don't know. I just pick the side of logic as far as like picking a vibe. But, I know some of the guys that have been on it. I've had friendly discussions with them. So I would do it. Sure, why not? The next one comes from Gianni1288, who says, hey, John, longtime fan here. Have you seen the DC Peacemaker series? If not, I think you would enjoy the series, and season 2 is coming out in a few months. I have seen multiple episodes of Peacemaker. I like it. I don't necessarily love it or need to binge it. It's one of those shows that I was watching when I lay down to go to sleep. I was like, this is entertaining. I like seeing John Cena with his overly veiny muscles that are protruding more and more every year the older he gets. Those are great to look at. John Cena literally does look like a live-action big veiny dick, doesn't he? And there's nothing wrong with that. And also, I would stand by that as a compliment. But beyond that, I thought it was fine. But I never really got into the overall series of it. Oh, look, a tribute to Gene Hackman. That's nice. Did they show him as Lex Luthor? Yeah, well, that was nice. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. All right, the next one comes from Greg Harris, who says, Cody Rhodes delivered the F-bomb. Well, surprised. Oh, yeah. Go F yourself, Rock. That was great. That was everything it needed to be. I'm glad that he had some gravitas behind his response to The Rock, and he completely denied him. So, yeah, I liked that. I did like that during Elimination Chamber. Stop casting Zendaya, Butler, Holland, and Chalamet. They're the next up-and-coming A-list stars in Hollywood. They're probably going to be in everything, and everyone likes Zendaya. She's like perfectly made to cater to every demographic there is, right? Like white people like her, black people like her, young people like her, older people like her. It's like she was made to give mass appeal, but I guess quality acting ability at the same time. So I think maybe give it a few years. I think the hype will die down possibly. But then again, I mean, look at Nolan's upcoming film. It's just like like Tom Holland's there. Isn't Zendaya in that as well? She's in the new Shrek movie, which that teaser that they put out was not all that enticing. The Shrek teaser that they put out, and I know it's just a teaser. I know it's a teaser. The movie comes out in like 2 years. I understand all of these things, but let's just step back for a second. What is a teaser for a movie? What is its job to do? It is supposed to excite you and announce the movie, right? That's what it's supposed to do. And I don't feel like it did. It did one of those things. I'm aware Shrek 5 is coming out. Will I ever watch Shrek 4? No, I will not. Will I ever go back and watch Shrek 3? Probably not. Shrek 1, masterpiece. Shrek 2, rainy day, put it on. I'm there. I'll check it out. But yeah, Zendaya's in that movie. And that teaser was not very good. And I did not like the redesigns of Shrek. I know it's an animated movie, but they made him look too friendly. They made him look too wholesome. They made him look like a Saturday morning cartoon for very young children. And I know it's an animated movie made for children, but I liked how ugly his original animation was. He kind of looked like an ogre, you know? He didn't look like this overly sympathetic puppy dog. And that's what he looks like now. I don't like it. All right. Friday Night Tights are big haters of everything. Yeah, listen, maybe I can play devil's advocate in that situation. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things I hate, but if I don't hate it, I will stand up for it. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You think I'm afraid? You hear that? I'm not afraid anymore. Except of the pigeon lady. All right. I've never really watched Friday Night Tights. I've seen a few clips. I've never watched the whole thing, so I don't know. All right. They did the same thing with Buzz Lightyear. You're right. They simplified him. The next one comes from Tripler3, who says, do you prefer your Rode shotgun mic or your wireless lavalier mic? I really prefer this mic. And I cannot get this mic to work with my camera when I do pre-recorded videos. For some odd reason, I cannot get this to work with my Sony a6400 because it's just too hissy. There's too much audio interference, and it just sounds like garbage. It sounds like a cat screaming in your ear if you, I don't know, dipped it in cold ice water, okay? Whatever that sounds like. I know someone, Bryce was going to be a veterinarian. Is that a pretty accurate statement, what a cat would sound like? I don't know. Oh. Are we doing the Academy Awards here? Are we doing Best Picture? Okay, we will get to the questions momentarily. Let's watch and see who's the Best Picture winner of the year at the Academy Awards. So we got The Brutalist. This is over at 10, right? Or is that an hour later? Is this coming on an hour later? What is happening? Someone in the chat, let me know. Oh, it's cinematography. Okay. Never mind. Jumped the gun. Sorry. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah, just let me know when they announce Best Picture. All right. Someone said, I feel Shelby Oaks will bomb hard. Well, you got to keep in mind, man, if the movie costs $1.2 million or what have you, and someone didn't embezzle half the money, then it only needs, and if Neon puts some money into the marketing, it really doesn't have to do that well. You know, like a mediocre horror film, if it gets a wider release and they market it right, and you have a decent trailer that makes it look mildly competently well done, or something scary visually speaking, people will go see that shit, okay? Especially if you put it out during the fall season, around Halloween time. I think it'll definitely make its money back. There's 40 minutes left. Okay, yeah. For some reason, I thought it was over at 10. All right. The next one comes from... Oh, so I'm sorry. Going back to your shotgun mic question. I like this mic. I do use a shotgun mic for my pre-recorded videos. I think the shotgun mic sounds more clear. The thing with the lavalier mic I have, and I have a DJI Go mic. Is that what it's called? Or DJI wireless? I don't know what the fuck it's called. I don't know. But I have a DJI mic. Is that what it's? DJI mic. I think that's what it's called. And it sounds a little muddy. Like, it does its job. It sounds okay. You can, stand 100 feet away from the camera and still pick up your voice. But I'm not in love with the clarity of it. So, Better Call Maul says, Johnny Footjob, have you seen Invincible? If not, get on it now. Johnny, you won't regret it. It's peak TV. Invincible on TV? I have not watched it. I have not seen it yet. I'm sorry. Bastiel says, hi, John. I watched The Firm in 4K yesterday. A good Tom Cruise film, but Gene Hackman is the best. Rest in peace. Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. The Firm has never been one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. And the other thing I want to say about The Firm, and this might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this. Let me know. Please share your thoughts. I was never in love with the score to The Firm. It's very, I forget who composes it, but it sounds very piano heavy. And when it comes to the intensity of some of the scenes, for some odd reason, it just felt out of place. But I've only seen The Firm maybe once or twice in my entire life. So that's what I vaguely remember about The Firm. Was that the same composer of Rain Man? I don't know. Andy Kumar says, have you seen Dawn 2006 Bollywood trailer yet? I have not, man. I have not watched the Dawn 2006 Bollywood trailer. Oh. I have not seen it. I'm so sorry. I could do it now, but I'm just trying to get through the questions real quick. Okay, fuck it. I'll watch the Dawn 2006 Bollywood trailer just for you, man. I feel like you've asked this multiple times. So I got to give it to you. Okay. Here's a picture. Okay. Let me watch this trailer. Let's check it out. All right. We got some horse jockeys running. Flashes of a gun. Uh-huh. The quality in this is like 280p. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to skim through this, man. I don't think people want to see me look at this for 2 minutes. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. He's putting on sunglasses. Explosions. It looks like a culmination of every cliche trope I've seen in an action movie that went straight to DVD in the early 2000s. More explosions. A guy who looks like an anime character. He flipped a toothpick. Wait, what the fuck was that? What did he jump out of? Okay, he jumped out of a plane or something, went skydiving. There, I'm sorry, I watched the trailer. Very condensed like, but I did my best, man. I'm sure the movie's probably better than the trailer. Oh, the Brutalist won Best Cinematography? Okay. I feel like I don't think The Brutalist is winning Best Picture. I feel like 90% of the people who voted didn't watch The Brutalist for 3.5 hours. All right, let's go. Let's keep going here with the questions. Bo Cylinder says, Crystal Skull or the Dial of Destiny. You know, the truth be told, when Dial of Destiny came out, I thought to myself, this is less intrusive than Crystal Skull was and less jarring, but it's not a more entertaining. It's not more entertaining. It's not. It's really not. Watching Shia LaBeouf team up with Harrison Ford to get some big plastic prop alien skeleton is by far more entertaining than what we got in Dial of Destiny. Dial of Destiny, I can't believe that was the screenplay they went with. Like, that was the movie that they all said they want to make. 10 years in development. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Great director. You have the cast that you need to make a great movie. And that's what they pump out, right? Yeah, I think the more entertaining Indiana Jones movie is probably Crystal Skull. I think it is. I think the production of it is better as well. All right, the next one comes from Gray Wind, who says, random, but how about Cena heel turn? We talked about that earlier. I know that's something he always wanted to do throughout his career. He even has a theme song that they developed years ago in anticipation for that. So I'm glad they finally did it. It makes his last year there so much more intriguing. And then he can become a babyface or a good guy towards the last few months of his run, you know? And I think that's glorious. All right, the next one comes from DJ Run, who says, hey, wedding twin, happy 4 months. What do you do for Valentine's Day, and what do you think of Catherine Kennedy stepping down? Well, there's hope for Star Wars. like anything feels possible now. I don't think she was really doing any favors to any movies she was producing for the last decade, was she? I mean, so, yeah, good. See you later. Bye. Bye, Miss Kennedy. Can we get a good Star Wars movie now? So yeah, I don't care that she's leaving. I don't. Valentine's Day. What did I do? What did we do? I think we just got food, and here's what we did on Valentine's Day. I'm glad you asked, because I kind of suppressed this memory deep down inside. So what we did is we got food. I don't even remember what we got to eat. I'm sure it was delicious. And we watched a movie that I have never seen before, but my wife loves, and she made me watch it, but I wanted to watch it, right? Because it made sense for the day. We watched The Notebook, and I liked it. Is it cheesy? Is it a cheesy love fest? Absolutely. Is it a Nicholas Sparks novel with every trope that you would expect? Yeah, absolutely. But Ryan Gosling's performance in that movie was top notch. He was I don't know if he was trying to be funny, or he was trying to be cute, or all the above, or unintentionally funny at times, but his performance in that it elevated it so much more. And that's what I've always said. When it comes to movies, if you just get a charismatic actor who will do little weird things to really make this feel like a real person, it elevates it, right? So for example, throughout the movie, Ryan Gosling, it was almost like he had a lisp that he was trying to hide or something. At one point, he goes, pancakes. And we laughed for 25 minutes. I loved it. All right. Those are my thoughts on The Notebook. I'm glad you asked. Gianni88 says, hey, Johnny Two Chins. Just watched Violent Night 2022 for the first time. Weird movie. Ever seen the flick, and thoughts? I did not watch Violent Night. That was the David Harbour. Was that the David Harbour Santa Claus movie? And then they had the other one with Mel Gibson where he played Santa Claus or some shit. Yeah, David Harbour. Yeah. So here's the thing. I have a weird thing I need to tell you guys right now. When it comes to Christmas-themed action movies, I don't necessarily feel the urge to ever watch them. Because around Christmas time, I don't mind watching a Christmas comedy movie that's off the rails and a little bit fun and fantastical or what have you. That makes sense. But watching a straight up action movie that just so happens to have a guy named Kris Kringle who is a CIA assassin, but he wears a red suit every time he kills someone, it's just like, I'd rather just watch a better action movie that doesn't need to utilize the Christmas theme as like some kind of running gag that gets stale within the first act, and then it just drags out into this cliche, trope-filled fest of nothingness for the remainder of the 90-minute runtime. Those are my thoughts on Christmas movies. I hope that was fulfilling. No, was it good? Did you like Violent Night? Do you guys like the movie? I did not watch it. The trailers did not look like a movie I needed to see. Like, you could miss that movie and not miss anything, you know? John sold out. What did I sell out? Because I watched The Notebook? I'm still a man. I'm still tough. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is great. All right. John, why did you go evil last night? All right, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, I think a Thunderbolts versus New Avengers storyline with Sam and Bucky's friendship becoming fractured like Tony and Steve's in Civil War would have been better than what we got in Brave New World. I think anything would have been better. I think if you watched Red Hulk take a shit in the Oval Office, that would have been way more compelling of a story, and I would like to see that. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, I agree with you, man. But I really don't have much interest in the New Avengers, to be honest with you. The Thunderbolts movie looks kind of cool. Don't get me wrong, that looks like a good time. At least it looks like an entertaining action movie that should exist. But I do agree with you on that. Social Native says, favorite Friday the 13th movie? For some odd reason, hang on. There we go. Okay. When it comes to Friday the 13th movies, I've always had this weird, deep-rooted love for Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And because it has little Corey Feldman in it, young Corey Feldman, and at that one point where he's bald, wearing his dirty little polo, like a young Jason Voorhees, it's so gross to me for some odd reason. I don't know why. It's so like unbecoming, but I've always liked that Friday the 13th movie for some reason. It's always been the one that I remember the most. But I don't like a majority of the Friday the 13th movies. I really think a majority of them are just bad movies that are slightly boring. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Better Call Maul says, Johnny Diddy Oil, what's the craziest conspiracy theory that you wholeheartedly believe? Oh, where do we dive into that one, man? Let's see. How to offend people. Let me think here. Listen, I'll keep it fun and light with you. I'm sorry. I don't know if we went to the moon in 1969. Let alone did we go back like 7 more times after that. You know what I mean? Like, and then we got so bored that we had a vehicle that we felt the urge to do donuts on the moon. But yet we can't even like send a drone to the moon to drop off a camera that can stream for 24 hours that you can just click on the NASA website and watch it, you know? Like, it just feels like we were so far ahead of technology and advancements that we did all these things in the late 60s and early 70s. But when technology kind of felt like it got to that point, we just dismissed everything that we did previously and never touched upon it again. That to me is weird. And by the way, did I mention that my Wi-Fi drops out 3 times a day? But yeah, we went to the moon in 1969. We just landed on it, we walked around, we got in a spaceship and just boop, shot right off. Okay. Whatever you say. All right, let's go to the next one here. Social Native says, Were you a Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network guy? Oh yeah, I used to love me some Nickelodeon, man. I always liked the shows like Double Dare, or what was the one with oh my god, the Temple show. Temple of Doom or some shit. Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple from 1993 on Nickelodeon. That was good stuff. But I always like some of the shows like the, what was it? You got me going down a memory path here. Nickelodeon shows. The show Hey Dude. All right, let's see what we had from Nickelodeon. Oh, it's giving me all the modern day junk. I'm talking about the early 90s stuff. But yeah, I always remember vividly wanting to be on Double Dare as a stupid kid. The Brutalist one again? I like that Mark Hamill's there. Did you guys see the award show where Mark Hamill's pants fell down? Like how? How did that happen? Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon. I just Fly Me to the Moon felt like a movie that should have come out in 1999. And by this point, it just sort of felt like a parody of that, I guess, rom-com feel-good vibe. It just didn't really do much for me. Okay, the Brutalist one. Well, cool. All right. And when it came to Channing Tatum and ScarJo in Fly Me to the Moon, I like both actors, but for some odd reason, their chemistry just was not working for me in that movie. Okay, one original score. Okay, good. Okay, hey, fine by me. Social Native says, favorite Mighty Ducks movie? I will always love the original Mighty Ducks, but D2, man, oh, it's Knuckle Puck time. Phenomenal. One of my favorite movies as a kid. Me and my grandparents' neighbors, one of my friend, how am I saying this? Who cares? I had a friend named Chad. Okay, he was a few years older than me, but he was so cool. I wanted to be Chad until I looked Chad up a few years ago, and I definitely don't want to be Chad. I'll put it that way. But anyway, Mighty Ducks 2 was always one of my most vivid memories because every time we would hang out or have a sleepover, we would always watch Mighty Ducks 2 with warm Mountain Dew that he, for some odd reason, his family always kept warm and never refrigerated it. So it always tastes like warm battery acid. But nevertheless, as a kid, it tastes delicious. It was the nectar of the gods. And we would always watch the Mighty Ducks 2 in his basement. I vividly remember this. Good times. And then you had the Bash Brothers in the movie. Oh, cinema. Pure cinema. All right. Social Native says, oh, no. Kevy Rez says, Alexa Bliss looks so hot last night. That was always my crush when it comes to WWE lady superstars. Your Name Here says, same here, reading the chainsaw. I ripped that sumbitch out to remove a bush at the base. Man, I removed a bush from my front yard a couple years ago with a pickaxe. I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. I would swing at that thing like John Henry trying to beat the machine on the railway. And after like swinging at it for a solid 20 minutes, my arms, my neck, and my shoulders, it literally felt like they were on fire and my heart was palpitating so fast. And keep in mind, it was a 90-degree day. I just felt the urge to take this bush out of the ground. I had to lay in my front yard for 20 minutes and acclimate before I got up again. And then after that, I took a cold shower and went back at it. All right, the next one comes from Asher56, who says, Shelby Oaks was an insurance scam. Where is it? I think it's coming out later this fall. Social Native says, talk about Beverly Hills Ninja. Oh, Chris Farley movie. What was that, 97? I think it was 97. I like Beverly Hills Ninja. I don't think it was one of the better Chris Farley movies. And it was definitely the fish out of water story. I have not seen it. To keep it real with you, I have not seen that movie in a very, very long time. I would like to go back and rewatch it sometime. I have a good friend that likes movies like that, so maybe we'll get together and take some edibles and watch it. Does Beverly Hills Ninja still hold up? Or the other question is, did it ever hold up? But don't get me wrong, I love me some Chris Farley. Trish still looks good. Yeah, she does. For being almost 50 years old, yes. Like a fine wine. Don't pop the cork just yet. Okay, Asher says, Stuckman used half the budget for backdoor rockets. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who knows? I mean, really, you can pay yourself whatever you want from that GoFundMe, man. You could if you wanted to. My salary is now $500,000. $600,000 go into production costs, and another $75,000 go to Keith David for being on set for 23 minutes. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm not a financial accountant, nor should I be. All right, the next one comes from Dustin Rich, who says, if you had to be surgically attached to a celebrity for life, who would you pick? I don't know, probably Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, right? But then again, I think being attached to Tom Cruise would be really thrilling, but also terrifying at the same time. And when I say terrifying, I'm not referencing all the stunts that he does, flying around in helicopters or jumping off buildings. No. I'm talking about the things he probably does in his personal life. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. But probably Scarlett Johansson or maybe I don't know, Nicolas Cage could be a good time. I don't know. All right. Tripler3 says, why are women such bad drivers? I don't know. Well, I do know, but I don't know. That's the best answer I can give you. I know, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like whenever there's something bad about to happen within a vehicle, women always put their hands up like this. and that's not what you should do when you're driving. I don't know. But I've witnessed that many of times. Skylar Wheelock says, what's a movie you dislike, but it had a great trailer? Movie I dislike, but had a great trailer. I'm sure there's a million of those. I'll tell you one movie that I thought had an awesome teaser trailer. And the movie itself, a lot of people hate it. I kind of find it a guilty pleasure. But the movie, Terminator Salvation, the teaser trailer for that, when the music was playing, and it was flashing, and there was this, it was panning through this sewer with the water, and at the very end of it, one of the machines pop out of the water. For some odd reason, I thought that was so badass. And also, speaking of Terminator movies and trailers, the teaser trailer for Terminator 3 was actually pretty good too. I liked how it started out under the water. Yeah, there's something to do with water in Terminator movies. I don't know the correlation here, but I thought that was a really cool teaser trailer where the camera had all these skulls underneath the water, and then it pans up above the surface, and there's the machines flying around, and there's explosions in the background. I was like, that's what this Terminator movie should be. But little did I know that was simply just a flashback. So then we got to look at Nick Stahl pretending to be John Connor. Yeah, and that's a great question. I want to ask you guys. What is a movie that had a great teaser trailer, but the movie was, let me know. I'll answer some of those in the chat. Type them up. Give it to me. Superman Returns. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. And I think the trailer actually made it look like it would be an entertaining movie. Stuff would happen. And then you watch the movie, and they put everything that happened into that trailer. For the rest of the 2 hours, not so much going on. Edge of Tomorrow Edge of Tomorrow was a good movie, though. I'm saying good teaser trailer, bad movie. Age of Ultron, Black Mass. I wasn't a big fan of Black Mass. Your Sore says, ever listen to hardstyle, smoky or regular barbecue sauce? Have I ever listened to hardstyle? No. Is that like some music genre that's like hard hitting or metal like? What is that? Smoky or barbecue style? I like me some smoky. Don't get me wrong. I just had wings 2 days ago. So delicious. I kind of like dry rubs. Does that sound weird? Juan Dowd says, do you like Tucker and Dale versus Evil? I was never a huge fan on it, man. I was never a huge fan. The Predator 2018, yes. Talk about the biggest miss of making a franchise movie, and that's what you make. Okay. Yeah, The Last Jedi, all right. Tenet. Yeah, you're right, Tenet. Trailer was better than the movie. Watchmen. See, I like Watchmen, the movie, but I think the trailer was great. Battle of Los Angeles. Oh, yeah, the Aaron Eckhart movie. Yeah. I saw that in theaters and never watched it again. Batman v Superman, I knew that was going to flop. Yeah, the weird thing was when they released that first teaser clip of Ben Affleck as Batman in the bat armor suit, and he flipped the switch to the bat signal and it sparked, and then they showed up in the sky, the rainy night sky, Superman there in the beam of light from the signal. When they showed that clip, and I don't know if it was the teaser or was a clip, I don't remember where I saw that. I think it was one of the very first teaser trailers. Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw that somewhere. I was like, this is awesome. This is what I want it to be. And then it just got messy. The movie got so messy. And then you had Jesse Eisenberg with a red Jolly Rancher. And I was like, I don't want it. Manuel says, we all love dry rub. Well, some of us do. Some of us don't. But when it comes to wings, I think you should at least try it once. When it comes to life, I think you should at least try it once. The next question comes from, Jordan says, Kick-Ass 2. See, I have a guilty pleasure love for Kick-Ass 2. It's not a great movie. It's definitely much weaker than its predecessor, but man, I just like it. It's one of those movies I can just watch. So basically, most of the Snyder trailers are good, but the movies suck is what people are saying. Got it. All right, let's go to the next one here. Social Native says, have you seen The Pest with John Leguizamo? What is this, a giant booger or something? I have seen The Pest, but not since like it came out on VHS, man. And even then I didn't think it was like that funny. Skylar Wheelock says, which classic film was a huge disappointment when you finally saw it? Which classic film was a disappointment? Ooh. I'm trying to give you a good answer on this, man. Let me, my brain can't remember what it's called. Okay, this might be an unpopular answer. I could probably give you a better answer if I thought a little bit harder on it. Raging Bull is not a movie I feel like I would ever watch again. I can appreciate what Scorsese was doing. I can appreciate everything about it. It wasn't necessarily like all that riveting to me. And maybe it's because I grew up watching Rocky and I feel like I've seen what I love when it comes to a great classic boxing movie. I don't know. Raging Bull to me was like, it was fine. It wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. And that might be very unpopular. Let me know if you agree or disagree. But then again, the last time I watched it was probably 2010. So, yes, the Angry Gamer says The Godfather. I wouldn't say it's underwhelming. I think the second one is by far superior. but I get what you're saying. What movie are they talking about? What the fuck are they talking about right now? Got Sebastian Stan on there doing his Donald Trump impression. So what is this? Is this best? Oh, is this best male performance? Best actor? Sorry, best actor? Adrian Brody got it for The Brutalist. Okay, I like me some Adrian Brody. Okay. I'll tell you my favorite Adrian Brody movie, and that is a movie called The Pianist. If you've never seen it, it's about the Holocaust, and he plays a Jewish man surviving in the Jewish ghettos, and it is one of the most riveting films I've ever seen in my life. And a lot of people say they can't watch it more than once. I watch that shit probably once every 2 years. And what it does when you watch it, it reminds you of how cruel humanity and men can truly be. And it reminds me of why I hate society so much. And it justifies that opinion. But yeah, if you've never seen The Pianist, please watch it. All right. Well, good for him. All right. The next one comes from... the next one comes from Jokerface501, who says, John, the MCU stolen a lot of ideas from Bayformers. The MCU stole a lot of ideas from Bayformers? Like what? What did they steal specifically? Give me examples. I mean, you got to understand, a lot of tropes and cliches exist in every big action blockbuster movie, but specifically, what are you referencing? Social Native says, first time you watched Training Day? Oh, first time I watched Training Day? Man, probably... I probably watched it for the first time on like DVD. I definitely didn't see it at the theater. I probably rented it on DVD the first week it came out because every week we'd go to the video store and rent the newest releases. And if Denzel's on the cover, I probably would rent it and thinking that was cool. That's my type of movie. I like movies that take place in kind of like an urban culture setting to a degree. For some reason, they just relax me. I don't know what that says about me. Like movies like Menace to Society or Juice or Boys in the Hood, or I know Training Day is a bit different. It's more of a cop drama thriller, but nevertheless, I've always enjoyed Training Day. All right. Hey, Jake, you can go home to Little Mustang? Andy Kumar says, have you seen the adult film Schindler's Butt? I have not. But I will watch it later. All right. Feel free to chime in the normal chat. I'm reading everything. And if you guys are members or if you guys want to ask anything in the normal chat, please chime in right now. I will read and talk about anything you want. Now I'm convinced Conclave is going to win Best Picture. I have not watched Conclave. I don't necessarily want to watch it either. Did you guys watch it? Did you like it? I know I'm a guy who talks about movies on YouTube, but it just doesn't look that appealing to me. I'm sorry. Zublin says, loved Adrian Brody as Pat Riley in the NBA HBO series. I didn't watch that. Was it good? Mark, the Top Fabricator, says, what's a movie you would have loved to watch in cinemas? You know, probably Star Wars. Like, if I could go back in time right now and watch one movie in cinemas, like opening day, I think Star Wars, like, even if you have the knowledge going into it, I think going back in time and sitting with an audience to watch Star Wars up on the big screen, that would be really interesting. Like everyone just so enamored with the movie and blown away by what they're seeing. I think that'd be great. And then I could be like, hey, in about 50 years, you're going to get the Rise of Skywalker, okay? And everything that you love about this movie, yeah, just flush that down the toilet, okay? Social Native says, we already answered that. Social Native says, Social Native says, thoughts on the Page Master. The Page Master. I remember thinking I would love that movie as a kid, and I remember renting it on VHS, and I liked Macaulay Culkin, and I still do. I think I just like the movie got really like discombobulating to me as a kid. I think I lost some interest. Like I know he goes, the thing I vividly remember about the Page Master is he's sort of a very timid kid. And in the opening of it, there's that ramp that goes over that construction pipe. And he's like a bit nervous to jump over it. And then at the end of the movie, because he overcomes all of his fears, thanks to the books he's reading, doesn't he jump it? It would have been awesome if he jumped over that, crashed his bike, broke his spinal cord, and then like could never walk again. And like that's the end of the Page Master. But thanks for reading. Did you feel brave doing that? Anyway. So yeah, that's what I remember about the Page Master, but I have not seen that movie since, oh my gosh, probably like 1997. Like that's the last time I can remember watching the Page Master. So I would like to go back. There's like a little fairy who flies around that looks like a book. And was there another guy that looked like a pirate as a book, or am I completely just making that up? That's what I remember about the Page Master. Manuel says, I would have loved to see Back to the Future in theaters. Yeah, that would be another great choice to watch in theaters. Or like watching Back to the Future at a drive-in theater back in like 1980. Is it 85? Is Back to the Future 85? Right? Okay. I think it is. But imagine that. That would be cool. And Christopher Lloyd was in both. Yes. Marty! All right. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, name a movie with an opening scene that is vastly superior to the rest of the film. Ooh, that's good. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of a movie that has a great opening scene, but the rest of the movie kind of sucks. And it's like I'm thinking of all these great opening scenes, but the movies hold up afterwards. That's the problem here. Oh, God, I don't know. I'm thinking so hard my eyes are closed. I know this is captivating content. I'm sorry, guys. This is all I have to give you. Shit. I don't know. That's like I'm gonna ask you guys watching right now. What is a movie that has a great opening scene, but the rest of the movie not that good? Let me know. Oh, someone said Dial of Destiny. Good pick. Good fucking pick, man. Okay, I can live with that. Yes, because the opening scene of Dial of Destiny, you have de-aged Harrison Ford going on this like journey. Which, by the way, hear me out for a second. What if Dial of Destiny was nothing but a culmination of different adventures that Indiana Jones went on, where they do, in fact, de-age him throughout the entire film, and then in the very last act, we catch up to young, old Harrison Ford. You know, I think that would have been a better movie. But yeah, man, that's a great one. Up, I agree with you on that. I'm one of those people that doesn't love Up. The opening scene, it has me crying. It made me afraid to get old, but yet I could enjoy the beauty of what comes with becoming old. You know, it's like, it's beautiful. You know, it's, you're right, Up. Nora won Best Director? Why aren't you guys telling me to shut up and watch my TV? They're talking about the theater going experience being under threat, and I agree with that. Oh man, they're really saying something about the theater industry right now, which is good. I think it needs to be said. Can you guys hear that?
Distributors, please focus first and foremost on the theatrical releases of your films. Neon did that for me, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think the theatrical release during distributing a film is very important. But it also makes it feel like a film, doesn't it? It makes it feel special. When you just crap movies out on VOD or streaming or whatever, it's just, oh, here's another movie of the week. It doesn't feel special. Or at least not to me. All right. Well, that was nice. Nice little PSA he gave there. All right. Ghost Ship, yeah, with Fergie. I thought the concept of Ghost Ship sounded so cool. I thought the poster looked so cool, but the movie, what a cheap piece of shit. Are you watching Severance? I watched part of the first season of Severance, and it's not that I'm not intrigued by what's happening or what's going on. It's just I don't know if it's worth the journey to go on. And when it comes to Severance, it's one of those shows where I would rather the series come out, end, and be done, and then I go in and binge watch it. I don't want to wait a year or two in between each season. I just don't. Not for something like Severance. Yeah, Blade Trinity. Cool opening. The rest of the movie kind of sucked. But can I tell you something about Blade Trinity? Let me share some thoughts with you guys. And if you're watching right now, I need you to glue your eyes to the screen because what I'm gonna say to you is very important. It's not that important. It's just a quick story, okay? But when Blade Trinity came out, you have to keep in mind, this was right after Batman. Blade Trinity was after... Blade Trinity came out after Batman Begins, right? It came out like 2006, right? Something like that. Anyway, it kind of felt like the poor man's Batman Begins. It had the same, I think it had the, didn't it have what's-his-face direct it? I forget his name. Anyway, he wrote Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, what have you. And David S. Goyer, right? Did he direct that or produce it or write it? I don't know. But it had the same tone to me. Like the poor man's version of Batman Begins. And I loved Batman Begins so much that just that little sliver of that tone in Blade Trinity. And Blade Trinity is a giant, large piece of shit. I saw that movie in theaters 3 times. Because there was nothing else to watch when it came out. And I feel like it came out in like the dead zone of the year. Like February, March or something like that. Like currently right now. And, yeah, I'm not proud to tell people I saw Blade Trinity 3 times in the theater, but it was like this guilty pleasure love I had with it. And Jessica Biel in the movie, I sort of had a crush on. You had Ryan Reynolds in the movie. And then you had Wesley Snipes, who refused to open his eyes in one scene. So they had to put like really bad photoshopped eyeballs on him at one point in the movie, which it just looks like a Snapchat filter. You know, if your eyes were closed and you like added a Snapchat filter of like eyeballs opening. That's what it looked like in the movie. And then it had WWE wrestler Triple H in it, who has a scene where he's running after like a car, but it's the most unintentionally hilarious thing ever. And then the main antagonist in the movie, Dracula, that guy I think it's the guy from like Prison Escape or something like that. He just looks like a gay porn star to me. Don't ask why. And that's how he came across. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Blade Trinity. But it's a guilty love. It's a guilty love. I appreciate it for all the wrong reasons. Those are my thoughts on Blade Trinity. I hope that was fulfilling. Okay. The next one comes from... Oh, you guys are killing it here. Okay. Skylar Wheelock says... You have to take either 10 Braun Breaker Spears or 30 Gunther Chops. Which one are you taking? I will take the Chops. That spear looks like it would crack your spinal cord, man. And I was at Royal Rumble in Indianapolis when Braun Breaker speared I Show Speed or whatever that guy's name is that can barely put together 2 sentences. But for some odd reason, millions of people watch him. I can't even comprehend what he's saying. He has the IQ of a peanut. But anyway, it looked like he broke his neck, and I thought that was phenomenal. Let's go to the next question. Panic Nation says, have you ever seen A Scanner Darkly, John? Keanu Reeves plays a cop, Robert Downey Jr., Woody Harrelson, and Winona Ryder are his friends. Check it out sometime. I feel, yeah, my brain's thinking of something else here. I'm thinking of Johnny Mnemonic. Scanner Darkly, yeah, 2006. I did watch this. I have seen this movie. I've seen the DVD of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I vaguely remember watching this and not liking it that much in the first act, so I don't think I continued, but I should go back and revisit this. Now, keep in mind, this was 2006, okay? I was like graduating from high school, all right? Maybe I was a little impatient at the time, but I should go back and revisit this. Yeah, I want to check this out. Yeah, it's Richard Linklater. Okay. Yeah, man. Maybe I'll add that to the to-do list. I'm sure it's very surreal and fun and good, but I like some Richard Linklater movies, man. For sure. All right. Best Actress. Okay, let's see Best Actress. And we'll get back to the questions, I promise. Oh, Demi Moore. Okay, let's see who wins Best Actress. Ooh, this one could go to a few people. I could see Demi. I would go with Demi Moore, but Mikey Madison. Yep. I think that was a fair choice. I really do. I think Mikey Madison winning that was pretty good because she really invoked playing a hooker. I will say that. A hooker with a heart of gold. That was pretty good. Good pick. Do you guys like that one? Breakdown with Kurt Russell. I love that movie. Such an underrated little gem. If you've never seen Breakdown with Kurt Russell, definitely check it out. Nice little movie. His wife goes missing, and everyone thinks he's crazy. Phenomenal movie. I own it on, I think I have it on Blu-ray or definitely 4K back there. Anora is dominating. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. I'm getting strong vibes. It's probably going to win Best Picture of the Year. Social Native says... Social Native, you asked a few questions, man. I'm getting there. If I missed one from earlier on, please let me know. But here's your next question. Social Native says, top 3 scenes in Forrest Gump. Ooh, now are we going with the iconic scenes or just my 3 personal favorites? If we're going with personal favorites... I enjoyed the running sequence towards the end of the movie where Forrest Gump just loses his mind and goes on has a midlife crisis and says, I just wanted to run, and then develops like a smiley face t-shirt and a shit happens bumper sticker. Great. And by the way, on a quick side note, the studio did not want to fund that entire running sequence. So Tom Hanks actually had to pay for it out of his salary with Robert Zemeckis. Now, they made up the money on the back end with the box office, but nevertheless, he actually had to fund that. So I like the running sequence. My other favorite scene in Forrest Gump is... I love anything with Lieutenant Dan. I really do. Anytime he's on screen, I always have a smile on my face. Like if he's a lieutenant in Vietnam or a drugged out hippie or a first mate on a shrimp boat. But I'm trying to let me think of a few other scenes I love in Forrest Gump. Oh God, I'm trying to think of another scene I love. I like, my favorite, the most hilarious scene in that is when Mama Gump sleeps with the school principal to get her son a first-class education. Now, that's a loving mother. And when the principal walks out and he's like, your mama sure do care about your education, boy. And he goes, I like that scene. Me and my friends have always laughed at that and referenced it quite a bit. So those are a few scenes I love. And of course, I love the iconic scene where he runs and his braces break off. Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far away. Now, Janie's dad was always loving on her and touching her. Best picture? Okay, let's do best picture. We will dive into the questions. Feel free to submit them now. I will answer every single question, I promise. All right, best picture. Let's do it. I'll turn it up. Fuck copyright.
And it's great to be back because, I used to work here.
You did? When was the first time?
9 tuxedos ago.
Okay.
Actually, my first time hosting it was 35 years ago this month. Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's weird because on my IMDb page, I'm 47. So this is
47. Okay. Well, that's not a lot.
All right, who do you guys think is going to win best picture?
Just cut to the chase.
Chime in right now.
when you have a chance to be an Oscar winner for
I want the substance,
the rest of your life.
but I have a feeling Nora might win. Has the substance won anything tonight?
Nominees. Here are the 10 nominees for Best Picture.
All right, best picture.
Honora, Alex Coco, Samantha Kwan, and Sean Baker.
I never thought the trailer for Nora did it much justice.
Brian Young, Andrew
Okay, The Brutalist.
Johan, and
Everyone's picking Nora. I know. It's looking like Nora.
A Complete Unknown.
A Complete Unknown. I don't...
Mangold and Alex Hyman. Conclave, Tessa Ross, Juliette Howell, and Michael A. Jackman.
Conclave just looked like an Oscar bait movie to me.
Part 2, Mary Parrott, Cale Boyder, Tanya Lapointe, and Denis Villeneuve. Emilia Perez, Pascal Cochetou, and Jacques Audiard.
Emilia Perez. Watch it win. If it wins, I will just end this live stream and go to bed crying. I'm still here. Okay.
Nickel Boys, Amy Gardner, Jeremy Klein,
I did not watch Nickel Boys, so I know nothing about it.
The Substance, Coralie,
The Substance. A riveting film.
Wicked, Mark Plant.
Wicked. I liked Wicked, but it's not Best Picture of the Year. It's just not. Catchy music. But...
And the Oscar goes to...
Come on, Billy Crystal, spit it out.
Oh, maybe. Honora.
Honora. Okay. Yay, Honora. A working girl with a heart of gold won some gold you can hold in your hand. That's great. Okay. Hey, I can live with that. Not necessarily my best picture of the year, but it was in my top 10 movies of the year, so go check out that video on the Flickpick channel. The link is down below. I think I put it at like number 9 or 8. So, okay, you guys happy with Honora winning? I was actually going to make a bet tonight, literally on a betting website, saying Honora would win, but the odds were in its favor, so it wasn't really worth the bet. So anyway, why didn't Nosferatu win for Best Cinematography? Because the right people didn't vote on it, I guess. I don't know. That's cool. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad a movie that was worthy of winning Best Picture won. You know what I mean? So, good for Nora. All right. John B says, Dune should but won't. I like Dune, but... Michael Flores says, hey, John, can I tell you a funny story about the movie Forrest Gump? My wife saw it in theaters, and she laughed when Lieutenant Dan fell out of his wheelchair. Well, that's fair. And then I always laugh when Forrest Gump says she tastes like cigarettes. Michael Flores says, my wife hates when I talk about that story. Well, I think it's funny. It's funny because you know it has a happy ending. It's okay. It's okay. What's the matter? You lose your package in Vietnam or something? All right, let's go to the next one here. Andy Kumar says, seen Ryan Reynolds buried. Good contained thriller. Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds Buried. If you have claustrophobia issues, not the movie for you, but a damn good movie with a damn good, well, I wouldn't say twist, with a good ending that just hits home. You know what I mean? Like, in reality, that's how things would go, you know? And I like that. V-Chat says, Force Awakens and Last Jedi were so good, Rise of Skywalker sucks balls. He didn't add balls, I did. Force Awakens is fine. You know, I don't think it's offensive. I think it could have went somewhere interesting. I think it laid the building blocks to make a good Star Wars trilogy. You know, is it perfect? No. Do I think they completely missed the biggest opportunity of Star Wars of all time, where you had Han, Luke, and Leia all in one scene embracing each other, something that everyone's wanted to see for 25 years leading up to that? Yeah, did they waste that? They absolutely did, and I will never forgive Star Wars for such a thing, and that's why I have no faith in them directing another Star Wars movie. You wasted that. That's on you. But Last Jedi, I'm sorry, I don't think is good. I don't. Okay, Social Native says, Road to Redemption thoughts. I've seen it a few times. I like it, don't love it. That's all I have to give you on that one. You know, I know it was based on a graphic novel, and I like Tom Hanks in the movie. I like the look of it, but as far as like the story progressing, I just always kind of thought it was like meandering, but it's been a while since I've watched it. Andy Kumar says, best, worst, or most memorable celebrity encounter. Man, I've only met a handful of like big celebrities, and the most timid I've ever been. Now, the biggest celebrity I've met was Jake Gyllenhaal. I have a picture with Jake Gyllenhaal. Go to my Instagram and you can check it out. But I did an interview with Sean Bean, and you got to keep in mind, like, I was a dude who was just making YouTube videos in his mom's basement, moved out, and I was making YouTube videos in a room in my house, right? And all of a sudden, I'm teleported to Los Angeles. I'm sitting in a studio that they literally built for me to interview Sean Bean, right? Thousands amongst thousands of dollars went into this. Don't ask why. And I had 3 questions to ask him. And the guy does not talk, right? Sean Bean, nice guy, but it's like pulling teeth to get him to talk. And he gives you very short answers. And I remember he had he had a producer or a writer with him during the interview who also was a writer on the show. It was all about his show Legends, which I think was canceled after 2 seasons. It was okay. It wasn't that great. But I would ask him a question. You guys can watch the interview. Just type in Sean Bean, the flick pick. You'll see it on YouTube. And it's a very edited version of the interview. Okay. But in reality, it's like I would ask him something and he'd go, like he didn't know how to talk. It was really interesting. And then he would come up with an answer and it was like, yeah. And I was like, thank you for that very thought-provoking response. Like, it was really interesting. I don't know. So that's the celebrity I thought was I was a little timid around. Jokerface 501 says, Avengers third act is like TF3 with alien ships. I mean, there's a whole bunch of aliens and space shit flying around with a hole in the sky. I mean, you got to think, if you really want to listen, man, if you want to back up a little further, you want to talk about aliens with a hole in the sky, go to Independence Day. Same shit. I don't know. But I do see the comparison. Social Native says, John, best steak to eat. Oh, a filet. A filet's good. Typically, I go for a New York strip. A lot of people get medium rare. And there's nothing, I think that's the right way to eat a steak. I will objectively say that. But subjectively, I like medium. I like when they make it medium, but I hate saying medium rare because they go too far with the rare, right? I don't want it dripping goop that's red. I don't want that shit because that's all I taste. It tastes like iron. It tastes like the blood that it came from. The blood of the animal that it was chopped out of. Okay? Cook it just slightly. So that's the kind of steaks I like. Movies for Life says, you doing a worst of 2024 video? I don't know. I don't think anyone cares anymore. It's like if 2024 was already 2 months ago, it's like no one cares. It's like the Oscars are over. 2024 is gone cinematically. And the truth is, when it comes to the worst movies of 2024, it would just be my most disappointing movies of 2024. Because I don't watch every bad movie that I know is going... Like, I didn't watch the new Jack Black Christmas movie that came out. I'm sure that would be number one, but life is too short. I have too much shit to do. And even if I didn't have anything to do and I could live forever, I probably wouldn't watch that piece of shit starring Jack Black that came out around the Christmas season. Okay? But I'll tell you what. With all that said, I'll tell you what. On the next live show, I will either do, and I'll let you guys pick. I'll talk about my most anticipated movies for 2025, or I can talk about my most disappointing movies of 2024. Let me know which one you would prefer on the next live show, and I'll try to make it happen. All right, Social Native, can you just ask the question again in the normal chat? I will answer it, man. I'm looking right now. I will answer it. I promise you. All right, the next one comes from Mike's Movie Talk says, has a movie ever made you cry? Wow. Okay. Has a movie ever made me cry? Yes, multiple movies have made me cry. And I typically savor that experience when I'm all alone. And I sometimes let go. I don't tell people about it, but I do. I'll tell you the last movie that made me cry, and it's sort of an unlikely movie. And I'm sure there's been other movies over the last couple years. I'm sure I've seen something that brought a tear to my eye, but I didn't let it trickle down my cheek. It's not crying if the tear doesn't leave your eye, okay? Remember that. I'm still tough. I'm still a man. I eat my steak rare. Actually, I eat it medium rare because I'm very sensitive, but I hold it all in. A movie that made me cry that I remember recently, I know it sounds weird, but hear me out for a second. The Pixar movie, Oh, Take Me Now. Oh, the heavens have opened up. Sorry about that. Sometimes this light has a mind of its own. Let's turn this down. Oh, God. Oh, I thought the rapture was happening. Okay, is everybody okay? Did the skies open up? Did the heavens above open up? Are there locusts flying around? Okay, let's turn that down more. There we go. We'll make it nice and dim. It's getting into the late night vibes, baby. Okay, so back to the question. Sorry. The movie Onward from Pixar sort of made me want to cry. And I'll tell you why. As a dude who lost his dad a little too early on in life, I've always had a void there. I always have. Do I have daddy issues? I wouldn't say that, but there's definitely a void. And the entire story, the entire premise of Onward is about a couple, whatever they are, pixies or whatever, the orcs or whatever the heck they are. It's about losing their father and trying to meet him again, So that was very touching to me. Okay. Social Native says, John, I said best steak to eat. I answered it. I answered that, man. Come on. Yeah, JD Review says Anora wins everything. They did. Did The Substance win anything tonight? Did it win anything? I mean, I guess at least it was nominated. That was so random. Yes, it was. Yeah, I have a light up there that I think is just... It has a remote that goes to it, but if the right frequency hits it sometimes, it makes it bright. I don't know. I don't know why. I really don't. All right, the next one comes from... one makeup and hairstyling. Okay, you know what? I think in all fairness, it definitely was a steal for the makeup and the prosthetics. So, okay, it got some love. It got a little love. That's fair. Okay, best makeup. I think that's fair. All right. The next one comes from Goran Trajanovisky. You know I can't read, but here it goes, man. Madame Web winning for sure. Oh, I hope so. Everything. Take it all home, baby. Robert Giachanta says, I always say your name wrong, but it's endearing, I hope. Robert says, the creator of Greg the Bunny and Warren the Ape won 4 Oscars. Have to love it. Ever seen those shows? I have not, man. Greg the Bunny and Warren the Ape? I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I thought you were just lying. I have no clue what those are. They sound like South American Saturday morning cartoon shows. I have no clue what those are. John has a ghost in his house. I probably do have some spirits living amongst me, but that's unfortunate for them. Dune 1-2. I wouldn't care if ghosts lived with me. I really don't care. I'm at a point in my life where I don't care. I just don't. Oh, okay. What are you going to do? Ravage my body in my sleep? Haunt my soul? Contaminate my spirit? I don't care. At least make it fun. All right. I hope if there's a ghost living in my attic, it's someone like Beetlejuice. I really do. John saw a poltergeist. I did. Mommy, help me. I'm in the light bulb. All right. Let's see. Someone asked me my favorite Gene Hackman movie, and that's sort of a hard answer to give you because I don't know if I necessarily have ever thought about it that in depth. But he's made a million movies. So let's talk about a few Gene Hackman movies. I'll tell you one that's super underrated, and I've always loved movies like this. Prison, movies that have prison as the backdrop, I always find really intriguing. The Chamber, starring Chris O'Donnell and Gene Hackman, where Gene Hackman plays a man on death row. Oh, that's a really captivating movie. Check that out if you've never seen it. The Quick and the Dead, I was never a huge fan of it. I like Sharon Stone, but Unforgiven is great. Burning Mississippi is a damn good movie. Remember Gene Hackman in the Owen Wilson movie Behind Enemy Lines? Is that not maybe arguably the best Owen Wilson movie he's ever made? Like, not outside of a stupid comedy movie where he just gives his one-liners. Wow, geez, we're just a couple kids with our hearts racing like race cars. I don't know, whatever the hell Owen Wilson says. Anyway, I liked Behind Enemy Lines. That was always a fun movie. I have not seen it in a long time. What else? Young Frankenstein, okay. French Connection, 2. Never watched it. Obviously, the Superman movies. I'm not a huge fan of the original Superman movies. I know I'm supposed to say I like them, but I really never loved them. I didn't. I grew up watching 89 Batman. Class Action, okay. Those are a few. Who's spamming this chat? Who's spamming? Give me a name. All right, Social Native says, thoughts on Nightmare Alley. I thought the movie was okay. There's aspects about it that I liked. It was very surreal and weird. I like the backdrop of the circus freaks in the 1930s, 40s during the Great Depression. I liked all of those things. I thought Bradley Cooper in the movie was fine. I liked where the movie goes. The arc of the character, definitely kind of dark and depressing to say the least. There's a lot of things I liked about it. There's things I didn't love about it. And it's been a few years since I've seen it. I'm trying to, like, off the top of my head, pinpoint those little things. I felt like during the third act of the movie where he actually, the geek that bites the heads off chickens or whatever, I remember when it gets to the point. God, I don't remember what happens in the third act of the movie. I just know there's an office building and it gets really weird. I don't remember what happened, but I remember kind of being taken out of it a little bit. And I'm sorry, that's all I can vaguely remember about it. But I thought visually it was really eerie and creepy, and it was a fine one-time watch, but I would never, ever revisit it. I think I guessed the ending in the first act of the movie. Like, I think I remember guessing the ending like 15 minutes into the movie. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back for that. That's just what I remember. All right. Social Native says, John, favorite Christmas memories. Well, I have a very, very in-depth video that I posted on this channel where I talk about one of my early Christmas memories of my uncle peeing in the Christmas tree. But, you know, I remember being younger and just waking up with my entire family. And then afterwards, we would go down to my grandparents' house, who lived right down the street. And there'd be 40 family members and all the stupid kids running around in the driveway with their new Christmas toys and unlimited amounts of food. You can't recapture that again. I miss those, man. I also miss, and my wife and I do it sometimes, but I always liked driving around looking at the Christmas lights as you like drank like hot cocoa. Did anyone else do that? You drive around the streets during Christmas time looking at all the Christmas lights? No? I don't. Maybe my family was poor and that was the only thing we could do. I don't know. All right, the next one comes from DJ Run, who says, did your wife... Okay, you typed this a little weird, so I'm going to try to pick up the pieces. Did your wife, her last name, is she Mrs. Flickinger to all her students? Oh, yes. Yeah, my wife goes by Mrs. Flick. Flickinger is kind of a hard name for a very young kid to pronounce. I could barely do it. I still can't say my last name right, okay? And truth be told, I could barely spell my last name until I got into first grade. I always messed it up. Is it an I? Is it an E? I don't know. Who cares? Just scribble it. So yeah, she goes by Mrs. Flick, which is a cool name for a teacher, you know? Do you ever run into students when you're out with her? I think we did a few times. I think at like Costco or Walmart, we ran into a couple students. Libby Film says, favorite Ron Howard movie. Also, thoughts on Bryce Dallas Howard. Good actress, but spotty filmography. She's kind of hot. Yeah, she's beautiful. I did not like her character Claire in the Jurassic World movies. Okay, I'm gonna put that statement out right now. I liked her in The Village. Okay. Favorite Ron Howard movie. Off the top of my head, there's two that always come to mind. It's Apollo 13 and Backdraft. And Backdraft, if you haven't seen it, it's about firefighters in Chicago. Pretty damn cool movie. With Kurt Russell. And Stephen Baldwin? Is it Stephen Baldwin? All the Baldwin brothers blend together. Who cares? I liked that. I like those two movies. I liked the movie Rush, directed by Ron Howard. I hated Heart of the Sea. It looked like it had a green filter on it. Ugh. Just nonsense. But yeah, those are a few Ron Howard flicks I like. Social Native says, John, do you have a tattoo? No, I do not. I do not have a tattoo. You know what it is? There's nothing that I would want as a billboard on my body for the rest of time. There's really nothing. It's like, what am I going to get a tattoo of? Someone's name? Why? Like, I don't comprehend it. I never have. And the other thing is, I'm such an anal retentive asshole. And the older I get, the worse my OCD gets, to where if I got a tattoo and there was one microscopic error in that tattoo, like one line that's a little too wiggly or thick, I would just look at it. I would probably chop it off with a butter knife in my garage at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't take it anymore. So that's why I don't get a tattoo. It would drive me crazy if it wasn't perfect. And plus, I don't know what to get. Maybe I'll just get a tramp stamp. I don't know. Social Native says, John, first row, fifth movie. I'm not doing pick the flick, man. Okay, I'll do pick the flick. All right. I'll do one pick the flick. That's all I'm doing. One pick the flick. So if you don't know what pick the flick is, it's where you randomly pick a movie on my shelf back there. You tell me the shelf and which movie over, and I pick it up and randomly talk about it. And it's good for you that I'm wearing shorts right now because I only had underwear on before going live. So here's a quick pick the flick, and then we'll get back to the questions. So give me 2 seconds. Enjoy the intro to pick the flick, and I will indeed pick the flick. What is the flick you want? First row, fifth movie. Okay, I'll do it. Pick the flick. Yay! Did that scare you? I'm sorry for that. By the way, speaking of picking flicks, I have the steelbook of Gladiator 2 that was sent to me. Thank you, Paramount, for this steelbook. But I don't want to say thank you for the movie. And hear me out for a second. And by the way, on a positive note, if you guys want to pick up the steelbook of Gladiator 2, I think it's out now on 4K. Okay, there's my plug. I hated this movie. This just maybe might, I don't know. Probably is might be my worst movie of the year. By far my most disappointing movie of the year, and probably one of my most disappointing movies of the decade. I couldn't believe that they took a masterpiece like Gladiator and made it feel like a straight to Netflix movie about gladiator fighting. How do you do that? But anyway, the steelbook looks okay if you want this guy on the cover. I don't know. Whatever, who cares? Okay, what first row, fifth movie? Okay. 3, 4, 5. Ooh. The movie you chose today on the shelf is Wolf of Wall Street on 4K, starring Margot Robbie. Now, this was my introduction to Margot Robbie, and I thank this movie for that. I really do. And it looks even better, if you know what I'm talking about, on 4K. But this is one of those Scorsese movies that just proves to me that that man still has what it takes to make a great movie. The vitality of a guy who's in his 60s at the time directing this. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I love movies about con men and criminals, but as long as they're kind of, I guess, charismatic and funny at the same time. And this movie is hilarious. I love the scene, and it's such a small, little, minute scene. And I'm not talking about the midget tossing scene. No, I am not. I'm talking about just the scene where Jonah Hill is like inviting Leonardo DiCaprio's character to come smoke crack with him. He's like, "Here, man, smoke crack with me. Come on." I don't know. For some reason, it's funny. Anyway, Wolf of Wall Street, great movie on 4K. All right. Michael Flores says, hey, John, are you going to give the movie away? I don't know. I have a lot of other movies I'd want to give away. The only thing is, because it's a steelbook, and I have Gladiator 1, and because I'm a weird completist, though I could smash this with a hammer right now and be okay, I gotta put it on the shelf back there because it matches my Gladiator 1 4K steelbook. I'm sorry, I'm in a pickle here. I do have other movies I'd like to give away. I'm definitely not opposed to it. I just need to think of a good way to do a giveaway contest on a live show. That's the problem. If you guys have any ideas or any suggestions, please share those down below. Dustin Rich says, that's so hot. Smoke crack with me, bro. Yeah, absolutely. All right, the next one comes from Champion says, hey, John, do you mostly live off your wife's income? I wish. My wife's a teacher. I wish she was like a doctor or a lawyer. No. Nope, just YouTube, some investments I made, some things I did last year that sort of paid off this year. That's really what I'm doing right now. I'm in a holding phase right now. I budget my lifestyle. And by budget my lifestyle, I don't leave my house. No. I mostly just do YouTube, man. And going back into YouTube and just picking back up where I left off on and getting some of my contact, reaching out to some of my previous contacts again. I have some things on the way that are coming up. Really, it's the thing that always carried me through YouTube if you want to talk about like financial, it was always sponsorships. Like ad revenue from YouTube was just a thing that existed, but it was always sponsorships. And I have one sponsorship coming up, and it's kind of, I hate this time of the year, sort of a dead zone. It's like if this was summertime, there's always like a huge blockbuster movie coming out every week that gets the views. But during the dead zone, you kind of have to scrape by. But man, I have a sponsorship coming up that I think some of you will rather enjoy. Just keep a look out. I got to be very subtle with it though. Social Native says, John, first, oh, we answered that. Gator McClowski says, what is a film you think should have won Best Picture but lost? Tarantino has never won a Best Director Oscar. Ridiculous. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, when is Nolan winning his? I don't know. Or did he win it for Oppenheimer? Did he win Oppenheimer? Oh my God, I don't remember anything. What year is it? Jack Film says, hey, John, huge fan of your work. Did Oppenheimer fucking win Best Picture last year? Yes, Oppenheimer won Best Picture. Oh, okay, so Nolan got his finally. Okay, so he's good. Doesn't matter. He got it. No, it's not Manscaped. No, Manscaped would be the very PG version of what I'm going to promote, okay? It's okay. Just going to put it out there, all right? All right. So I don't know. A film that should have won Best Picture. There's been so many snubs over the years, man. Like when Parasite won Best Picture in 2019, that's when I was like, okay, the movie that deserved to win it this year that I loved won it. I don't know. Let's look at Oscar snubs. Hi, when you go to a list of Oscar snubs, give me the list. Okay, here we go. Oh, E.T. did not win. The Shawshank Redemption. Jesus, that is my pick. But then again, Forrest Gump, though, it's like it was one of those years. You had Forrest Gump, you had Shawshank, you had Pulp Fiction. You have to pick one. You do. Like, I love, like, if Shawshank can't win it, I'm glad Forrest Gump did that year. 1994, by the way. Citizen Kane. What is the John Hughes one? Pretty in Pink. So, yeah, really, it's a weird thing. I would say, like, Shawshank was the biggest snub, but then again, it lost to Forrest Gump. So it's like, I could see either of those winning. And I love both movies. The next one comes from Johannes Gerald, who says, John, have you seen a Real Pain? I think you would love it. A Real Pain? What is this? Real Pain movie. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. This just came out. Yeah, with Jesse Eisenberg. Yes. And Macaulay Culkin's brother. Yeah, I know. I've been meaning to watch this. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Where to watch? Oh, is it already on streaming? I mean, that's no surprise. Movies come out to streaming 3 minutes after they're theatrically released. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. Maybe I'll have the wife and I need a movie to watch. So I will. Maybe this Real Pain. Okay, I might check this out maybe tonight or tomorrow. No, WWE Raw is on tomorrow. I'm gonna watch that instead. But anyway, I will definitely check this out. I want to be honest with you, I thought the trailers for it look like this shouldn't be a feature-length movie. It should be a short film. I'll just say that. That's how the trailer looked to me about A Real Pain. But I do want to see it. All right, Cameron Morrison says Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, who did Saving Private Ryan get snubbed out to that year? Lincoln. Dude, Where's My Car? That would have been my choice. La La Land. I don't think La La Land should have won. Yeah, that should not have won any Best Pictures. I like the movie, but it was not the best movie of the year. Matthew D says, hey, John, I was just curious. If you met your wife on a dating app or in person, I appreciate it. Well, I met her on a dating app. And then the weird thing is, we played phone tag for like a month. And I was actually moving out of the city I lived in at the time. And I was like, hey, it's now or never. And then eventually she did come over, and I had Superbad on, and we drank Moscow Mules. It was quite the time. Yeah. All right. Nora Sinclair says, is it me, or is the Oscars too fast and cheap now? It did seem like it went by very quick, but then again, I was barely paying attention and talking to a camera the entire time. But it felt like almost obligatory, didn't it? Like, did anything that profound or exciting happen during the Oscars that you would remember tomorrow? Like, I know the opening was like Conan O'Brien coming out of a skin suit, like it was like a parody of The Substance, but I didn't really see anything. Yeah, Shakespeare in Love won that shit, didn't it? Yeah, okay, that is my pick for the snub. Saving Private Ryan, biggest snub. Shakespeare in Love, fuck that. Superbad sealed the deal. It certainly did, McLovin style. All right. Yeah, like no one, unless Will Smith slaps somebody, no one's going to be talking about this tomorrow. That's what it takes. That's what we care about. Best Picture? Nah, some celebrity slapped somebody. Stupid. All right, I'm going to probably wrap up. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, we already answered that. Okay. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the live show here. I was only going to talk until the Oscars were over, but I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw, give the video a like if you want. I would appreciate it. Please give it to me now. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. And like I said earlier on, if you guys did mention, or if you did miss my top 10 movies of 2024, that video is live over on the Flickpick channel. The link is down below. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts, your opinions down below if you're watching the replay of the live stream. And I will try to do another live stream here probably later this week. And we can talk about my most anticipated movies of 2025 or maybe some of my most disappointing movies of 2024. Either one, I'll let you guys pick. As always, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and goodbye. Night, night.